14-4 Yankees. We welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Pitalico, Michael Barkan. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to get embarrassed. But Ricky Bo, as bad as that is, I'm even less concerned about losing 9 out of the last 13. No, what I'm concerned about is this is a state of being for the Phillies. And you go back to June 8th and 9th when they played at London. Since they've returned from London, they're 20-21. That's a quarter of a season.
I said that whole thing was a disaster. They never should play that game. Not at that point in the season, not at that time at all. And the reason why I say that is, number one, baseball players are usually used to playing games every single day. And when you go out and you play games out in London, you play two games, you have 2 days off before, 2 days off after, throws the routines all off. How badly do you think that messed with all the pitchers? I mean, I just want you to think about it. Think about all those days off. You're used to trying to get into games, trying to throw. The whole thing is a joke to me. To go over there and play 2 games, biggest joke I've ever seen. And then this game might have been the second biggest joke I've ever seen because they got destroyed.
Yeah, worst loss to the Yankees in their history. Let's go over to John Kruk, who called tonight's game with Tom McCarthy at the ballpark. John, the one thing I took heart from was what you had said and what Tommy had said about your 93 team, and we checked it, and you all did lose 14 out of 20 late June to mid-July. And again, my concern is this is not just kind of a rough spot, Johnny. I'm concerned that, you know, they're not finding their way. What do you think? It's a 5th straight series where they've lost the opening game.
Well, yeah, and it's unlike them. They usually win that first game of the series and then move on from there. But it is frustrating. I get it. You know, a lot of the fans are frustrated. You know, they're calling for team meetings and, you know, they need to get more discipline with these guys. You know, everything's fine when you're winning, but then you start losing, all of a sudden changes need to be made. They just have to start playing baseball again. They're not playing you know, winning baseball right now. The defense has let them down recently. Some guys are struggling offensively. The starting pitching has been, you know, not what it was earlier in the year. But you know what? They're still got the best record in all baseball. And so there's no need to panic in this thing. You have to trust that these guys are going to figure it out and figure it out sooner than later and, you know, get back to their winning ways.
John, I'm on your side right now, but the type of baseball we are seeing right now and the type of baseball we were seeing before they went to London is completely different. I mean, I know they had a couple series mixed in there against Atlanta and the Dodgers that the Phillies look like the Phillies. But right now, I mean, where do you even start with the pinpointing? Because you brought up the starting pitching. The starting pitching has not been the same. We know that. The relief pitchers have been getting peppered around a little bit right now. And then the hitting with runners in scoring position has been an issue. So, I mean, how do you, like, even look at the team and say, all right, here's what's going on? There is no one focus on one thing. There's just so many issues all at once. I think that's the thing that's hard to watch.
Well, yeah, it is. And you know, you're not going to be able to put your finger on just one thing that's going wrong. You know, at different times in series, it's the defense, it's the offense, it's the pitching. You know, they just haven't been able to put anything together and sustain it for 9 innings, you know, here recently. But, you know, you can't go in there and start yelling and screaming if you're Rob Thomson, because that's not him. And if he does, now it's like, okay, we're in the end of July, and we got 2 more months left to go in the season, and now our manager's panicking by coming in here and yelling and screaming at us. Look, they got a bunch of veteran players on this team, and if they don't know, you know, how to figure this thing out, no one else can tell them that's going to help them. You know, they have to do this themselves. It's up to the players. Coaches, managers, front office, you know, they're doing everything they can to help these guys prepare to play. But again, it's up to the players once they get on the field to perform, and right now it's not good.
They would seem to be able to fall out of bed and be able to win games with Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Alec Boehm, Aaron Nola, Zack Wheeler. I mean, they've got all-stars upon all-stars like the Yankees do. I'll say this, the Yankees had lost 5 of 7, 8 of their last 13, and they needed to show up tonight, and they did. But the one guy you've always said, look, he's the least of our worries, is Bryce Harper. He's now batting 140. 43 since the All-Star break. It's 10 games, and you can see when he goes up there, and you know more about it than I'll ever know, John, but you just see his body language, and it doesn't look good. And I'm wondering what he can do or when he might break out of this.
Well, you hope it's tomorrow. But, look, everyone goes through these things, and I'm not making excuses for Bryce or anyone else. It happens. And when it happens, you get frustrated. And when you get frustrated, you give the appearance like, oh, woe is me, I'm down, That's not the case. I guarantee you, every at bat he goes up there, he thinks he's going to get a hit. I was the same way. Every player that's played, I'm never going to make another out. Well, guess what? That's wrong. You're going to, and you're going to go through these struggles. But I would bank on it that at some point in this Yankee series, Bryce is going to come out of it and do some big things, because you have to have that belief in him, because, look, he doesn't like playing this way. He doesn't enjoy, the struggles that he's had since the All-Star break. No one does. But like I said, he's the one who has to come out of it himself. He's the one who has to do it. You can't, no coach is going to wave a magic wand and say, hey, you're going to start hitting today because I might have noticed something. That's not the way it works.
Yeah, John, I got to ask you something, because I'm watching the 14-4 game, but you have to sit there on live TV and watch this garbage when the
you
position
guys should have
player.
took a break.
Well, I'm talking about like when position players come in to pitch. Are you getting a little tired of this yet? Because,
yeah,
I was tired of it when it started, but this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But again, the way the game is played now with the workload and, trying to manage the workload of a bullpen, I get it that they can put a position player in when you're not going to win the game and save one of your bullpen guys for tomorrow. But I still don't like it. It's just, I don't know. I get it nowadays, but I still don't understand why we have to do it. But that's baseball 2024, man.
Yeah. I just think that if they do that, they shouldn't be able to hit after. Like, you put a position player out there pitching, you lose your next at bat. That's it.
Wow, I think they should just disqualify the whole ninth inning if you're at home and your pitcher has to come in, or if your backup catcher has to come in.
Yeah, and it used to be cute and everything, but I don't think Stubbsy's finding it very cute anymore.
No, I don't think he enjoyed it tonight.
No.
But I don't think anyone would enjoy going out there and pitching. It's one thing, if you could do it in like a spring training backfield somewhere just for fun, but, not in front of a full crowd. Well, it wasn't full when Stubbs got in, but yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but
not either.
I see it. I don't understand it and don't care to.
John, last one. I mentioned that 6-14 run your '93 team was on. You obviously snapped out of it. You obviously went on to win the pennant, this close to winning a world championship. Do you remember that skid at the end of June into July and how you went on breaking it?
Well, I think it started in St. Louis, if I remember
That's
correctly.
correct.
And we got destroyed. I mean, it was ugly. And, look, here's the thing. When we came back here, everyone thought, well, here they go. They're typical Phillies. They're going to run out of gas, and they got no chance of winning this. The Expos and the Cardinals are going to catch them, and they're probably going to finish in third or fourth place. We heard all the negative stuff. It didn't bother us because we knew in our hearts that, we were a good team, and we figured we were going to figure out a way to get out of this thing. It took us a while, like it does every team that struggles. And that's the thing. If Bryce was struggling and team was winning games, you wouldn't even think about it. But, he's struggling, they're not winning, and all of a sudden it becomes a bigger story than what it should be. We were the same way. We thought, we're going to come out of this thing. We have to have belief in ourselves and belief in the other guys in the lockers beside us, and that's what we did, and that's what this team's going to have to do to get out of this thing and start playing the kind of baseball that got them to the best record.
And you never relinquished first place, and it really never was close, and that's what this team's going to do too. All right, my friend.
That's right, Michael.
There you go. Thanks so much. We'll check you tomorrow. That's John Kruk joining us from the booth.
In all honesty, the pitches that you saw hit we're all left out over the plate.
Yeah.
You know, you and I had the conversation before in pregame and saying you got to stay out of the middle of the plate. If you're in the middle of the plate, you know what? You better make sure it's either down or tailing or something. And he had nothing. He had a ball that was really flat tonight. His breaking ball didn't have a lot of bite.
Look at the bottom line here, though. The 2 starts on the left, Ricky Bo, against Baltimore and the Yankees on the left. 0-2 and a 14-plus ERA. His other 19 starts, 10-3 with a 2.11. But the bottom line, and this is what I want you to examine if you can, he's 1-2 with a 7.18 in 5 career starts against the Yankees. What's up with that?
Short porch. Well, I guess you could say that if you're talking about Yankee Stadium, but they always have really good hitters in that lineup. You make mistakes to the Yankees, where do they hit it? Into the seats. You think about that Baltimore game. What happened in that game? Home run, home run, home run, home run. So, I mean, you're talking about not really making your pitches. The other thing is get Zack Wheeler on 4 days rest and in the games. I think you got to get him on his schedule.
And he has said that, but he also said last time out, you know what, sometimes I do need a rest, and I have to be protected against myself.
Yeah, well, something's going on. You look at the beginning of the season, and I'm starting to wonder, did Rob Thomson put these guys out there a little too long early on in the season? We saw some guys going 7, 8 innings early on, and maybe that was a little too much for these guys. Maybe you pushed them a little bit too hard, and now all of a sudden what happens when you push them too hard? Something breaks down a little bit. And I'm not saying these guys are hurt, but I mean, just your body starts to takes a toll on your body as the season goes on. And I mean, to get spanked like you did tonight at home, it was an embarrassing baseball game to start with, but the stars did shine. The Yankee stars did.
Yeah, unfortunately. Zack Wheeler, 5 innings pitched, 103 pitches. Speaking of Rob Thomson, here he is post-game.
It's rare to see Zack hit hard like he was tonight. What do you think was going on there?
I think he was leaving his breaking ball up in the zone, and they were all over it. But I thought the fastball played tonight was just didn't command his breaking ball. Couldn't put him away. And they put some good at-bats on him, long at-bats, drove his pitch count up, and that's what they do.
When you have a veteran in a club like this where there's not a ton of moving around position player-wise, what can a manager do in a situation like this with stuff?
I think support them and remind them who they are. We're a really talented club that's going through a tough time right now. And I truly believe we're going to come out of it because we're too talented. So we just got to keep battling and keep grinding and do the things we did earlier in the season.
Is Judge at the point right now where maybe you just put him on and deal with the next guy?
Well, the next guy's pretty good too. So they got a long lineup, but Judge is a really good hitter.
This place is such a tough place for the opposition to play. What's disappointing, frustrating to see kind of the Yankees fans take over on a night like tonight and just be so loud?
Well, they travel pretty well too, but I think when we play better, we'll hear our fans.
Can you take us through the thought process of sticking with Zack once he walks the guy that loads the bases there in the fifth inning, and kind of the next few batters you kept him in?
Where were we at?
Soto, the double.
Yeah.
Then I guess the triple by who was the triple? Wells.
Yeah. So really, I'm trying to get him through the inning if I can, because we had basically 4 innings of pitching without using our leverage guys, and that was the 5th inning. So that's really what it comes down to. And his pitch count was still okay, and there was nothing wrong with his backs.
What are you seeing with Bryce right now in his struggles?
Actually, tonight I thought it was better because he lofted a couple balls in the air deep into the outfield, in the middle of the field. And usually when guys do that, I've said this before, it looks like they're getting their stroke back. Thanks.
Hitting-wise, the Stars did not shine.
No. They did for the Yankees,
Yeah.
not for the Phillies. Combined, Judge and Soto, 5 for 10, 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in for those 2 guys.
Oh, they got pitches to hit. And I mean, you could say whatever you want. You look at this game tonight, the one thing you look at is the final score and what happened. And the first two guys that you will look at on the Yankees are Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. And what did they do? They absolutely destroyed the baseball, and they came up big for their team. Phillies didn't have anybody like that. Brandon Marsh had a nice game. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Brandon Marsh 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. How about Zack Wheeler? Another struggle, and he's had trouble with the Yankees throughout his career. Another struggle against the Bronx Bombers tonight. Here's Wheeler post-game in the clubhouse.
Does it matter just run into a powerful lineup tonight, or make some mistakes, or how do you see this
A little bit of both. Made some mistakes. They hit the mistakes. There was a couple good pitches that they hit also. So, like I say, sometimes you got to give them credit, and they hit the mistakes and made us pay tonight.
Backfield, all right?
Yeah, backfield's good, actually. Yeah.
When the bottom of the order kind of gets to you at the beginning of that fifth inning, does that kind of stick with you? Just those guys getting on ahead?
No, it's just one of those days for me where you say that, and I don't even recognize that they got to me. So, it's kind of just one of those days that you're out there grinding, and you're just trying to stay afloat, figure it out as you go, and make the adjustments. And it's had my good times, bad times. So, stay with a grain of salt and move on.
Soto at bat, kind of fouls off a couple pitches there. You get a 3-2 curveball. But how difficult was that at that? Not getting him top foot in the
Yeah, it was frustrating, but he's a good hitter, and sometimes you got to try to throw a wrinkle in there, even if it's probably not your best pitch or stuff like that. You just got to try stuff sometimes, and JT called it, and I thought it was a good option. So 3-2, you can't necessarily try to make him chase, but I left it up, and he hit it well.
Team's been scuffling a little bit lately. What's kind of the general mood of the guys?
Well, we put ourselves in a good position, and we're up pretty good right now. We just got to figure it out and start playing a little better all around. It's just we're a really good team, and you can't be good every time out. We're going to go through these stretches throughout the season. We don't like it, fans don't like it, nobody likes it, but it's part of the game. It's a long season, and you're going to go through these parts, but we'll figure it out, and we'll get back to winning series. I think that's just our thing, is to win series, and if you do that, you'll take care of a lot of things.